recording. Okay, so Manin, my plan for
Yeah.
today is to do boring job, which is to try to address as many of these to-dos as possible in 2 hours.
Okay.
Something else, differently than everything we have done so far, I think we should splice this database integration in multiple PRs. For example, one PR for the Erlang portion, another PR for the AST portion, and another PR for runtime.
Yeah,
OCaml
I
runtime.
guess. Yeah, I think that makes sense, actually.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just start. So we have three functions that we made them like dummy functions. But just for the context for everybody to be on the same page. So we implemented last time the ask goal. Well, the ask primitive. And what this does, so what's the plan? We're gonna generate asks in OCaml as we currently do with the conjunctions and disjunctions and things like that. This guy actually is gonna receive a pattern in a raw query. So the pattern is actually the bucket of variables that we care about. We call that pattern for whatever reason. And the raw query is um, the actual query that you're gonna send to Sakura, right?
So when you say ask, Lemos, just one question. You mean you are generating a uh, function call in the runtime
Yes.
from OCaml.
Yes. Yes. So if
That
you can
will
think
be
about
inside
it,
of the.
okay, if you can think about it as we do with conjs and disjs, for example. So when you have a disjunction or a conjunction in Karuta, we compile that down to calls
Mhm.
of these guys instead.
Okay, I think I get it. So you're doing that on the just on the entry points then,
Yes.
or on any point of. I see.
Yes, we essentially prep the entire function call, and what we generate in the beam in the beam bytecode is a program that actually calls those functions in a particular. We compose them in a particular way that they will it will work. I think actually we should start, Manin, start thinking about documenting this process because as far as I can tell, if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, everything's fucked.
Please don't say that because I'm actually leaving the house tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no, I just remembered that.
That
Yeah,
is
there is
sad.
a leaving tomorrow.
That is danger then.
Yeah, so the problem is that this entire pipeline of how we do things, specifically the runtime, I think I have an idea and I could like the project would not necessarily die, but I think that because you are more comfortable with it, we should write that down. Anyway, so the plan for Sakura integration for everything, including the other things such as directives and the sub-languages being specified via directives as well, all of those things, we're going to do all of that ideally via generating function calls in the beam, which means that every feature requires writing Erlang code first, at least for now, because since last time I am considering rewriting all of this in LFA because there's no reason to not do that.
Um, I mean, it depends, right? If it's a feature that only exists at compile time, like say type checking, that actually doesn't need any runtime
No, no,
support.
no, but I'm talking about Sakura stuff only.
But yeah,
Because as far
most
as
Sakura stuff is yeah, most of that is going to need runtime support because we need to talk to the database when the program is actually running.
yeah, in the future, we may actually have a compile time behavior of Sakura as well because maybe we could, I don't know if we can, but maybe it's possible to actually do the type checking of schemas at compile time because that would be kind of cool. You don't have to run the program to know that the table that you're trying to the table no the relation that you're trying to poke in the disk it's wrong in the types. That would be kind of cool. But right, this is very like not this year kind of goal. Anyway, so every Sakura feature, as far as my understanding goes, is going to involve Erlang writing code written in Erlang, and then later we do that in OCaml and generate that in OCaml. Okay, so ask is about the retrieval, and it's particularly the one um, how are we gonna call that? We need a name. So we have the unfold retrieval or the aggregate retrieval, and we have the other type of retrieval. So the other type, we need a name. Let's
It's
say
always the
piece by
hard part.
piece. Sorry, Mageta?
That's always the hard part.
Incremental.
Incremental retrieval. Okay, so ask is the incremental retrieval, which means, let's go to the example. That is not the example.
So those will be for window functions essentially.
Those will be for
Or
what?
well, not only window functions and aggregates, right? In general.
Yeah, so this is the incremental retrieval. So this is when you
Oh,
are,
that's what it means. I see.
yeah, this means that you are in a declaration body necessarily,
Mhm.
and that means that you have the at, and that means that the unification process will be entirely done, at least for now, in Karuta, and we're just gonna have to grab the data from the database, and we're gonna do the unification with the variable names and things like that ourselves. Um, that's what we are calling incremental. We uh, what we are the aggregate is you want to have the entire data in a single shot. Semantically, I mean, because in terms of implementation, we're probably not going to do that because what happens if you have a petabyte of data? Um, but it's not going to be semantically incremental. That's what matters. So we are implementing this. Ask is the Erlang function that is going to allow us to compute this.
By talking to the database, yeah.
Yeah. So it's the most basic Sakura primitive available, in my opinion. There's nothing easier than that. Uh, okay, and so far what we've done is we made this go here because it receives a state. It's a function that receives a state. So the entire thing is monadic, but it's a combination of the reader monad probably, but written by hand, and the error monad, right? Because we are using the maybes things. Cool.
Yeah, basically this entire thing is embedded in what's the Haskell name for microkernel? Logic T, I think, or something.
I never played with that. Anyway, so what are we doing? I remember from last time we implemented a socket thing. So TCP, yeah. So in the start function, we actually gonna now pass data to it that's gonna allow us to actually do like timeout configuration and have a port and an address. All of that's gonna come from the front end of the compiler, which means the project directive, which is gonna be another PR. We're not gonna do that now. And then we connect to the server there, and if everything is okay, we just pass the socket in the state configuration and the timeouts for later. And the ask function is the one that is retrieving the receive timeout here because we need to do a send, right? So we do a send, the TCP send, and a TCP receive, and then as far as I remember, this is a blocks, like this is a blocking call. Uh, and then we deserialize the data, and then and then basically everything else is to connect to the microcoding implementation, right? So that's why this needs to be lazy. So there is a recursive call here, and it's kind of unintuitive. That's one of the reasons I think we should actually write that down. But all of this is fine as far as we know this works. We cannot test it properly because this depends on the remaining of the runtime to make sense. But we have functions that we need to do to-dos about. So which one do you want to start first, Manny?
Um, let's begin with serialize, I guess.
Okay. So what is going to be the format of this? I remember that we created a type, right? We created a type, um, which is this type here, query, right? And my question is if this is actually going to be the type of this value.
Yes, that's the idea. Basically, we need to encode Sakura query in terms of
S
Erlang
expressions.
data structures. And we need to convert that to S expressions because that's what the current implementation of Sakura understands. At some point, we may be able to just drop the S expression layer and just use a different, like, more Karuta-like syntax. But right now, that doesn't exist yet. So
I
we're doing
thought you
S
would.
expressions.
I thought you would say the opposite. I thought you would say that OCaml would generate the S expressions instead of having this essentially compiler inside of the runtime in Erlang. Like we have this intermediary representation here, which I said what I said, but I don't actually think we should drop this because there is a gain on the integration, right? Because there is a type in Sakura's OCaml code that represents this thing.
I mean, what if we ever decide to just allow you to do dynamic queries? Then we're going to need this regardless, right?
What do you mean by dynamic queries in this context?
Like generate a query dynamically during the runtime and
Ah,
then call it.
okay. Well, but that is ah, generating a query dynamically. That has a flavor of some metaprogramming stuff. It's a program that manipulates another program at runtime. Well, sure, I agree. And in that case, there is a benefit of having this representation, right?
Um, the main benefit, though, is this is structured on the bin side, right? So yeah, this is just a bit easier to manipulate. I guess we could compile this on the OCaml side. Um, we would have to deal with multiple levels of string escaping in that case, though, which may be annoying.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be annoying. Yeah, I think it's gonna be annoying. But anyway, we are kind of diverging. We're gonna go with this approach anyway, because for now the OCaml code is essentially generate a bunch of tuples, which is very easy as far as I remember. Uh, and we just have to parse it. So first things first. So we're gonna actually do a case here, right?
We need to do a case, yes.
That's not. Oh, that is how you do that. Okay, and then we're gonna do essentially this. Okay, and then here's the kicker. So let's actually do it kinda. Um, what do you say? Oops.
You need semicolons.
Yeah, no, I do. Um, okay, so let's actually, I don't know, try to indent some of these things. So let's actually do that, and then let's actually do it like that. Yes. I didn't want it to do that, but it's been a while since I reconfigured my Emacs since the last update. So let's start with base actually. Oh, and there must be an and here, right? So and okay. So in the case of base, right? Case of base, what are we gonna have?
The binary is basically going to be the name of a relation that just exists on
Yeah,
Sakura.
yeah. And then as far as I remember, to do it such a thing, we gonna need to do something. Oops. Um, we have examples, right, from last time. Yeah, there they are. Here they are. So create relation. Yeah, that's how it looks. So we essentially do it like that, and we say base, right? How do you do concatenation in Erlang again? String concat Erlang.
You actually don't have to concatenate strings because Erlang has a notion of what do they call it? I/O data, I think, where like it can be a string or a binary or a list of I/O data, basically.
I didn't get it.
Like it's an arbitrarily branching tree. You can just put those inside of a list and it should work.
You mean like Here?
No.
Yeah, so I don't know what you're talking about. I do know that I discovered that it is this though, so that's good. I discovered it is that. Am I missing anything? So there must be a space here. Actually, no, we don't need a space there. I think that's it for base. But we have to escape. We have to escape that. What do you say? The
Eh,
serialization name.
yeah, we need to put the quotes around it, and we actually need to. Actually, does Sakura have any restrictions on what a relation can be called?
That's Mageta's domain. In the meantime, we also need a function called serialize primitive. Primitive. So let's see. So what is a primitive? Oh, here they are. Ah, but they're not tuples, which means that I have to use a predicate, and that kind of sucks. That kind of sucks. So there is a bunch of things that we can do with guards, I believe.
Yeah.
So guard functions Erlang. So if you can search that up for me as well, I would appreciate. Here it is. So let's just start with is bitstring. So there's that. There is also is integer.
I'm pretty sure we should use is binary, not is bit string, because we don't support arbitrary bit strings as primitives.
Okay, and then there is the is float. Is that a thing? Is number and is boolean. Okay. So how do we serialize those things? So that's kind of the question. How do we serialize those things? So if the thing is a binary, we just keep it, don't we?
No, because we need to put quotes around it and we need to escape it.
Oh, okay. So how do you escape the binary? So escape
Actually,
binary.
that kind of depends. Does Sakura distinguish between symbols and strings? And does it allow symbols
Let's
inside
assume
of
that everything
relations?
is a string for now.
Okay, well, in that case, yeah, we do need to escape it and put quotes around it and all that.
Okay, but what is the best way of doing that?
Uh,
How to escape string Erlang. Why is the first output of this is the regex package? Okay, so oh, there is apparently a verbatim thing, which you use a different. I never heard this before. So can you do this? Is that how you do that? That and then primitive. Is that how you do that? Maybe. Okay, but how do I
uh,
escape things with the string? Unicode escaping in Erlang. Okay. Wait, but apparently the escaping is converting to binary. We already have binary. Are you sure we have to do something when it's binary, Marin?
no, it's because a binary is just a blob of, well, in this case, it's going to be UTF-8, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
which is an arbitrary string. But if we just put quotes around it when we send it to Sakura, what happens if there's a quote inside of the binary?
What happens if there's a quote? Oh, the example that I'm looking at online says Unicode characters to binary and then you pass the argument. That's what people. That's what this article
Charac-
is telling me.
character to binary.
Let's search the Unicode package, Unicode Erlang. So what
Yeah,
is that?
that's. I don't think that's really the kind of escaping that I have in mind. Basically, you know the whole thing about SQL injection, where people don't properly escape something that's going to be interpolated into SQL, and that opens up all kinds of security holes.
Yeah, no, I understand the reasoning. I'm trying to make it like as quick as possible because in the worst case, we just put a to do here. Especially
Well,
because we also have the escaping problem in the OCaml side. So
um,
okay, so
in that
primitive
case, I
index.
suppose. I mean, we could make a to-do for this because this is kind of annoying and it's not that interesting, but it is important.
Oh, I'm not denying that part. Um, okay, so how do I wait? What did I search? No, I searched it properly. Yeah. Okay, here it is. Okay, so in this case, it's just integer to list, and we put the primitive in here. There we go. So if it's a number, I believe it's gonna be the. Well, what about a number? Number to string Erlang. Converting floats. Okay, so first of all, is there an isFloat function? IsFloat Erlang.
I'm pretty sure there is, and we're using a bunch of those type checks in the Karuta module,
There
like
is
for
to
unification.
float to list primitive, and then the boolean. I'm gonna guess there is a boolean to list primitive. Okay, so you just have to figure out the binary. So what do you suggest?
Hello, Mageta.
Hello.
Uh, well, we could. Oh, by the way, Mageta, do you have any kind of like when we send you a string, as in a primitive that has type string, do you
Yeah.
have like escape sequences or something?
I think it just depends if OCaml does, because I just, I mean, I just, because all I'm doing is just bypassing to OCaml, right? Can
Uh-huh.
test, but not sure though. Not sure what are the escape cases in there. Probably just the usual.
Because
Maps.
yeah, we need to escape the strings that we send you. Like if we have a string that happens to have a quote inside of it, we don't want that quote to terminate the string and allow you to inject arbitrary like data in the
Yeah, that would be a
query.
Sakura injection.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
Let me
very
see.
bad. That would be very, very
I
bad.
think on parsing it will fail, but yeah, we will need some sanitizing, right? I don't think I do have that.
Okay, so I was bamboozled. This is that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
And
think so, because it's just parsing as strings, right? Actually, actually, I actually think I do, because I'm just using the PPX, right?
Hmm.
that,
Okay.
So
that,
the
that.
PPX should probably fail if you try to escape
Here is a key, a value, an ECC.
Right.
well, we can try. I'll run an example. Give me a moment.
Okay, so serialize value. I also need that, unfortunately. And here, actually, I'm gonna do it like that. And what do I need to do? What is the example? I need the example.
Unify,
Ext.
I think.
No. I'm talking about the example of how it looks like in the thing. So in here, this is gonna be const const then that, so serialize map.
By the way, you actually don't need to concatenate strings. You can just put them inside of a list.
Oh, you mean this?
Yeah, because the whole thing about like strings are actually just lists, which are linked lists, and concatenating those is not great. So Erlang actually has this notion of I/O data, which is either a binary or a list of I/O lists. And an I/O list is either a list or a string, or rather, it's either a list or a string, which is also a list but has numbers inside of it, or it is a list of I/O lists. So like you can make an arbitrary tree, um, and it just kind of works. It's the same trick that Oz uses actually.
Okay, so for now, just for now, I'm gonna do it this way until we get a hang of how what we're gonna do about the escaping problem.
Okay.
Because then I can just, instead of doing this bullshit here, I can just not do it. Serialize primitive, and then this also can go away. Awesome. Then this thing, serialize map. So I need actually the const here. So the const.
And the const is not actually a map on the Sakura side, though, is it?
Is not actually a map. Does that matter? In our types it is. So
In our types, it is because that captures the structure of the
I
data
think
that we
it's a list
expect
of
to be here.
pairs in Magitas.
Yeah.
Const serialize primitive one. You have to put a fun here.
You do. You do.
And then that space this. Okay, so now I have to go through this code here. So the way that this works, the key is a binary. So serialized key is equal to serialize primitive key.
Do you allow Magenta? Do you allow quoted symbols?
Quoted symbols.
Yeah.
Like for example in MD, like Markdown, or
No, I
you mean
mean if
simple quote, simple quotes.
yeah, like if you have a list of bindings, right? To the left-hand side is supposed to be symbols, but what happens if we give you something that looks like a string? Does that work?
Don't think so. No.
Yeah,
Let me
so we
check.
actually can't use serialized primitive for the key in that case.
Anything that is a S expression, it should be fine. But so long as it conforms with the structure, right?
I'm so
Hmm.
confused.
That's
What did you ask and what is the conclusion, Marin?
Uh, well, but in that case, Mageta, it's going to try to pattern match on it, won't it?
it probably will. Yes. Let me.
Yeah, so we can't use serialize primitive for the key because that's going to make it look like a string, right? Um,
Uh, okay.
and
Give me the example here. I'll try to run it. Give me a sec. I was writing a blog post.
actually, let me look.
I'm looking at the examples from last time, Marin, the examples of the sublanguages that Magita sent. That's where I'm looking to see examples of const and base and things like that. So the base, it is quoted. So the string that comes,
Some
this is
some
correct.
things they accept. Like for example, base. It accepts either a string or something else, right? So
Yeah,
long
but
as it can
yeah,
serialize
but we are
that.
talking about the keys in the const, right? Because as far as I remember, const in the OCaml is a list of pairs. So
Oh,
Yeah.
it's based.
But
Yeah,
it's
it's
pairs
basically a
of
let.
anything. It's not quoted, but it is pairs of atoms or strings.
Yeah, but that's kind
Ah,
of the
wait. So
problem.
you do allow strings on the left-hand side.
Yes, strings were fine. But wait, strings are fine as atomic. That's weird, right? But as single elements, not as this structure, right? Otherwise, it's just an S expression.
Wait, but that means that this should not be binary then. This should be an atom, right,
Um,
Marinho?
Maybe it should. Maybe.
well, it
Okay,
can be
so
binary
atomic
too.
is.
That will be a string,
No,
right?
but then it will always be a string. And you said, well, in the
Oh,
example,
atoms, they
const
can
is an
be.
atom.
But wait, it's atoms or strings. That's what I said.
Yeah, but we're
You
gonna
can
have
add
to.
a bar. You can add a bar and put uh, one or the
Binary.
other there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but the serialization is gonna always be the same, right? Do I have to do this?
I don't know. Screw you, Lemons.
Okay, thank you
That's
very
kind of
much.
random.
Okay, but what are we gonna do about it, Marin? Are we gonna have atoms in the key here, or are we gonna have something else?
I mean, we can choose. We control what gets generated here, right? What makes the most sense? I think maybe atoms because this is part of the syntax, right? It's not really an expression to be evaluated. It's a name that we're going to bind to something.
No, this is not a syntax thing though, because nobody will ever touch like. In theory, nobody will ever write the sublanguages S expression version by hand.
What do you mean? I do that.
No, you do that because you don't have a repo in Karuta yet.
I mean, if well, if you want to go directly to the source, right? It's very valuable.
And I just noticed something else. In the value of country, you have a tag to identify that the value is a string.
Wait, the value of country.
Yeah, you have like books by US authors only, right? And
Oh,
then you
the
have a
example you're
const.
talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about the example.
Where
Everything
is
is
that?
example based. Just open the chat and
Oh,
you
yes.
open the gigantic text message that you
Yes, it
sent.
can be. Yeah, which one you're talking about
I'm talking
specifically?
about the one that says const country and then str USA.
Host country, str. Okay, it's the select,
Yeah,
right?
why exactly? And is it having the tag for str necessary?
It is to define the type, right?
No, but you have quotes there. So,
Man, here's the thing. That is not my format. That is the format of the. I define a OCaml type, and then I just slap the PPX there, and then it produces this trash.
okay, so the ppx for the value of the string is adding a tag to it.
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay, that's a
Actually,
problem.
let me confirm that. Now that you say,
I mean, we can add the tag on our side during serialization.
Yeah, but that's a problem because it means that the serialization of a string in the case of base is a different kind of serialization of a string in the case of a value of a map. And that
oh,
sucks
actually,
ass.
yeah. So I need to know the types. Eh, so okay, can you go to the AST of the DRL on the other project since you had it open?
Uh, Sakura lib
Sublanguage. Oh,
the
sorry, it's the DRL
yeah
AST.
uh,
So value, that is value to abstract that thing and the value, of course. So that's why
yeah no, but
literal values for const nodes line 4.
yeah, but the problem, yeah, I see the situation here. The problem is the following. I want to serialize this. Well, first of all, this is a string, but a value can also be a string. And I wanted to use the same function for both, but I
Oh,
cannot.
it is not really a string. It is a element with a string wrapped on it.
No, yeah, it is an ADT, and the ADT can be a string if you have this tag. That's understandable. What I'm trying to explain that makes it annoying is that this means that I have to make two functions, even though the value can also be a string. The strings in both cases are very different because this one must be tagged.
Well, one is an object, the other is. So that is not really a string. That's what I'm saying. It's an object, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to create a serialize value function
Mhm.
that receives primitive. It receives a
Yeah,
value
it's so
instead.
pleasant to see Lemo suffering.
Sorry?
It's so pleasant to see you suffering with this.
You sound kind of sadistic tonight.
A
Yeah, that
little bit.
is very unusually sadistic, even by your standards. So value of. I'm assuming this is going to be a tuple, and if that's true, then we're going to have to do something like int, and then we're going to have an int value here, and probably what we're going to do is quotes that int space, well, again, concatenation of strings, and then you do a serialized primitive on it, which means that this should be a primitive, that, 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 and then we kind of do this multiple times.
Can't you make a function to serialize just the tag and then take the tag as a parameter in the pattern matching?
No, that is also like doing this, you mean, right? And then we do this.
Not in, yeah, not in the function though. I mean, like, basically the right hand side for all of this is gonna be the same. We're just going to defer to primitive, right?
Yeah,
But
that's.
instead of making like four or however many cases, why don't we just make one case? The tag is actually just a pattern variable as well, and we pass it to another function that just knows how to serialize tags.
Yeah, which is kind of what I was kind of writing already here, right? Because what you're essentially saying is that you do it like this, um, and you make this, right? And then you do
Yeah,
all the other ones. So I don't know why I removed that. Yeah, there we go. So float, it's float. Then we have str, which is str. Bool, oops, bool, which is bool. Um, and then we can get rid of all of these other things. And there. Okay, then we also have serialize value, which is going to receive a tag and a value. In this case, a primitive.
actually it should receive a tuple with those things inside of it, right?
You mean already like this?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we do this, that, serialize tag value, pass the tag, space, and then serialize primitive, passing the primitive, and then finally close parentheses on that. Right?
Yeah, basically that.
Okay, so we have that. Which kind of means that now I can. We're gonna assume that these are atoms, right?
Yes, we can generate atoms there very easily.
No, yeah, but I think there's a problem because this type is saying that the keys can be binaries or not, right? So there is a situation. There is a situation. Let's actually just do it. Serialize map key, and then you have a key is binary on the key, serialize primitive key, and if you have something else, when is atom, we're gonna do nothing about it, right? Key.
Uh, we should probably do something like um, atom to list, maybe.
Sure, like that. And then here we just say map key. There we go. Then we serialize the value, which is also cool. Um, serialize the value. So before we finish, I should also not forget to do this. Okay, so we serialize the key, we serialize the value, we serialize both of those things, which kind of means that actually this should not be that, this should be this. Yeah, this should be that. And okay, let's look at the example. We have the const, open parenthesis const. Then we need another parenthesis because this is the parenthesis to convey the collection, right? The list. So this should be done by these two parentheses. And then we have the key value things. So it should be something along the lines of
Serialized key and then the value and then yeah, close parenthesis and probably a space between the two, right?
yeah, that, that, and this is a serialized value. But here's another situation, right? We have the accumulator. So where should the accumulator be in this madness here? It should
Um,
probably
we're gonna
before.
concatenate. Logically, we're doing a concatenation, right? So you can just put it as the first. Yeah, you can just put it there.
And this should be it, shouldn't it? This should be kind of it. What do you think? For const, of course. We still have more to go. What do you say, Mani?
Yeah, this looks alright.
Okay, so now we have the select. Conveniently, the select comes immediately before the const in the DRL example. So the select is just seems easy enough. I just don't understand why the select has only two things. I think I already asked this question before. Mageta,
What? Sorry.
why does the select have two queries only?
Uh,
Nata, it's
why
written
does
here.
the
It's because it's a
select have two
semi-join.
queries? No, but that is not your question. The question is why is it a query? Well, it is because you need a yes. Okay, so remember that it's just a I don't have since everything is a relation. I just construct a virtual relation and then I join on that
Yeah,
virtual
yeah,
relation.
but I think my question is the number two actually. Why two queries
What?
instead of a list
Hmm.
of them?
Um, I mean that's just a choice, an arbitrary choice. In theory, every relation there is just binary, right? Every operation is just binary. I think it's more convenient, but well, could be a list as well.
No, but let's keep it as it is right now. That's fine. I just wanted to understand the
I mean,
rationale.
if it's very handy, I can add the list. That's not a
It's
problem.
it's just as handy. It doesn't really matter in our case. Okay, so select space. Then we have to call ourselves once. Then we have to call ourselves again, but I'm probably gonna put a space. And I'm not going for readability, and maybe that's a mistake. Do you think I should do that, Marie, for debugging later?
We could, but we don't have a pretty printer ready-made.
I have a feeling I'm gonna regret putting spaces instead of new lines. Oh well. Pulling off something from Mageta's book, that's gonna be your problem later, Marinho, isn't it? So join. So do we have examples of join? We do. Why is that in parentheses? Okay, so Mageta.
What is it? Yeah, and here.
So there is an example of a join in the same const example that I was looking before. There is a
Um,
join there.
wait, let me slow down. Okay, yeah.
Why are there parentheses around the author ID?
Because there can be many clauses to join, many attributes, right? It's a composite.
I'm so confused. Maybe
You
I'm
can
asking the
join by
wrong question.
two. You can join by author ID and something else. You see, not only one thing.
Ah, so that's why it's a list. And it's a list of atoms, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so I should also change the type.
Maybe it accepts the strings as well. I don't remember.
Yeah, we already have that as a binary, but we're gonna discover later if it doesn't accept that. So
We should probably make a type alias for that.
Yeah, that'll
identifier
probably
maybe.
be.
We could
Type
call it symbol as well. I don't know.
symbol. I like that. So this is a binary or an atom. There we go. And then I can just go
And
here,
this type system is just send.
symbol. And probably this is not required anymore. Which probably means that I should also change this to symbol. Um, okay, cool. So this is gonna be our list of symbols. Then we have query 1 and then query 2. There we go. And in terms of things, we have a join here. Then we have a list of those other things, so we probably should make a function. Serialize list of symbols.
Isn't that just map with serialized symbol as the parameter?
Yeah, but I don't want to put that in here because that's gonna look ugly. So list
Only based.
symbols and there will be an end there. And then here we're gonna do list of symbols which with this here. And you probably should already break this here. And then we have that. That. There we go. And now we just need to do what Marinho said. So this is a list of symbols, which means this is a concat map, right? Do we have that in Erlang?
No, it's just a lists map, no?
Oh, strings are lists. You're right. So lists map. Uh, there's a dot there, and I don't remember the order of the arguments. List.
Pretty sure it's function first.
Okay, it's lists. I keep forgetting that. Okay, so give me my map. Function first? Yeah, function first. Okay, so we have a function with a thing, and then there's an end, and here comes the list of symbols.
It's just serialized symbol though.
You are right. So actually, this is serialize symbol 1. There we go. Okay, next. Uh, Cartesian. So do we have an example of how that looks? I don't think so.
Not really. I think that's the most useless of the bunch, to be honest.
Okay, so in that case, I'm gonna just explode. So how do I do a throw?
Error.
Throw error.
Yeah,
Okay.
call error, say to do or something.
Yeah. So now he's making fun of me. I'm gonna make fun of him as well. Marinho. Error. Mageta
That's
said
not.
this is the most useless.
Actually, this is the most foundational one, and yet I'm calling it useless.
That's not how you do it, Lemos. You need to do parentheses. Error is just a function.
Yeah, I thought I was in LFA for a moment there. Okay, and then we have project. So I believe project should also be using symbol. Which this
Yeah.
should also be using symbol. Rename should also probably be using symbol.
Yeah, it should be symbols on both sides.
Yeah, only base is being binary, which is a little bit inconsistent, I think.
Actually, base is
Because,
both.
Oh, base is a symbol.
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind.
hmm, okay.
Which kind of means that this should be symbol. Okay, cool.
And then I discover one flag that flips that on the serialization of the S expressions, and then you have to redo all of this.
No, but
That would
yeah,
be
well,
fun.
but at least it's easy. Like the, making this sort of thing in dynamic language is very easy actually. I'm not that bothered by it. Okay, so project we do have examples. So how does that look? Project, yeah, list of things, yeah, list of symbols, list of symbols, and then we have a query, query one, and I need to be very careful to not shadow things incorrectly. So this would be kind of like this, but instead of select we do project. Then we serialize the list of symbols, and then finally we do that. Uh, yeah, I believe that is the case. Rename. So this is from thing to thing. So this is going to be pretty much exactly as const,
Basically, yeah.
and this is the rename map, and this is a query one. Rename.
Except we can't actually use serialized map
Why not?
because the value is a symbol, is not a. Well, the value of the map is a symbol in Sakura, not a value in Sakura.
I'm confused. Could you repeat?
Like, serialized map assumes that the values of the map are arbitrary Sakura values, right?
Nope.
Ah, that's parameterized. Okay.
Yeah, I noticed the rename being different from the start. That's why I made serialized map with two arguments.
Carry on then.
Union. So these are two things.
Oh, actually, you forgot to serialize the query afterwards.
Oh, that is true. My bad. So space serialize query one, and there we go. Then we have this other thing. I should also not forget to do this. Okay. Uh, so we have this thing. Let's assume it's gonna look like that. And union. It doesn't have all those things. So query one, query two, diff the same, and finally take. Take is not the same. How many? Take, we do have an example though, so let's take a look. Yeah, it's literally
Let's
just
let's take a look, Lemos.
that was bad. How many there? And then uh, it's written query, so I guess I just do it like that. And this actually is the last case. Is that it? Am I missing something? Cartesian is a
Hmm.
bunch of queries, right? Yeah. So let me actually change that. query 1, query 2.
Can't you just do Cartesian right now? Like it's literally the same thing as diff and union, no?
Sure. Uh, Cartesian. Cartesian. There you go. There you go. Am I missing
Huh.
something?
I think that's everything, right?
Yeah, it's very easy to do. Well, we don't know if this works. So let's well, we don't know if it even if the repo is fine with it, right? Because if it works, we're not gonna know for a while. Which is gonna be terrible experience, I should say, because when we get to the point of testing it properly, there will be so many moving pieces that can be wrong. So there is something to think about. Uh, okay, so how do you do that? Is it this? There we go. There isn't a boolean to list. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's just atom to list actually, because booleans are atoms in Erlang.
That makes sense. I completely forgot about it. Atom. Sakura. Syntax error 52. Aha. Yeah, that is definitely wrong.
Okay, I'll not do this now.
Okay, we don't know if it works, but it does. It sure compiles. Okay, next one. I should do a commit first though.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so implement serialization for
That's too
queries.
few lines, Lemos. You should write more.
I will. Don't.
If it's not at least 2,000 per minute, then it's not okay. And Belani reviews like PRs with like 30,000 lines
Yeah,
every
yeah,
day.
you mentioned this last time. And just remember we are recording, okay?
Yeah, I mean that's common practice
Yeah,
nowadays.
no, I know, but just for you to be aware. Okay, so which one you want to do next, Marinho?
You probably don't want to deal with deserialize, I'm guessing,
Well,
because that actually
I
involves
guess you can
parsing.
read my mind.
Let's do create session then.
Okay. So we have a socket and we have a query. Is this query serialized by any chance? Create session. The answer is yes. It is serialized. Okay. So my understanding is that we just need to do something like this in a way, which probably means this should be in a maybe, and there should be a case, and well, not a case, sorry, an else and an end, and everything is gonna essentially live inside of yeah, and then this we should actually grab that, put it in here, and then there. There we go. So, but we need to actually create session. We need to talk to
We need to send the query, right?
um, yeah, but we need to establish the protocol. So, Maget, uh,
Lemos, tell me.
I talked to Marinho last time that there can only be for now there can only be two things to send to you, which is either a
Mhm.
session identifier that you are the one that's gonna you're the only one that knows how that looks. We don't know, or it's a query. That's it.
Let me show you the thing right now running. Give me a sec.
That reminds me, don't we have to wrap like a DRL around the entire query?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we definitely need
And
to do
not
that.
only DR, actually, yeah, I mean, just send those if you wanna do the cursor, right? You will need to wrap it actually in a SCL.
Okay.
I'll show you that. So
Yeah,
here,
that
can you
is
guys
kind
see?
of,
Or is it
yeah,
too small?
that is very tiny and probably is only using the
Yeah,
correct.
you're streaming at 60
Ah,
FPS, Mangeta.
60. Don't you guys like a terminal at 60 FPS? What do you mean?
Okay, but
It
this
doesn't.
this is uh mm,
Give me a sec.
that is kind of annoying. Okay,
Here.
how can I tell which thing is which? Can I do that? DML, DDL.
Yeah,
So
now
good,
we can see
good,
very well.
This is gonna be
good,
DRL
good.
body.
Auto server. What? Okay, weird. Uh, cargo run.
Serialize.
So check my screen here. So
I'm looking.
I'll run the example that I gave you guys.
Going off.
Sakura. So here's the trick. You can just do this, right? So base Sakura attribute.
I think you were sharing the wrong terminal, Mangeta.
Am I? Oh, when I share, I can share both. I'm sorry. This is so silly. It's a macOS thingy. There we go. Can you see now?
Yes, now we
It's
can.
just another tab here, you see, but when I click, you can see like for some reason.
That's completely terrible.
Uh,
That was so good.
there you go.
That
So
is
it needs to be
terrible,
like
man.
this, right? So this you get the relation. That's cool. Now, if you want a string, right, there's 37. So if I want to actually just get three of them, then you need to wrap on an SEL, which is a string control language. Then you start a cursor with begin. Then you specify the query, and then this is exclusively a DRL, and then you just specify the limit. It is like this because of the serialization. I think I can change this, but I didn't bother. So let's do that. I hope I can do that.
Don't you need to hit enter or something?
I did. Wait. Oh, wait. I think I didn't pull. Give me a sec.
Okay.
Ta-da. Did I make any change here that broke? No. Yes, it is Rust. That is. Let's just wait a little bit. Yeah.
Sure.
Get out.
We do
Git
not
pull origin
support.
master. Yeah, I didn't have the git clean xdf.
Okay.
Man, which branch am I? Master. Git pull origin
Tag.
master. And what did it say? Your changes overwritten by merge. I don't care. Git reset hardhead. There you go.
Serialize.
That was an important fix, but I don't care. So I just nuked it. Now just with the torture of Rust building stuff.
But that's kind of.
That makes me like Golang. Just look at this.
That is kind
No,
of
no.
meh.
Actually, no, it doesn't. Actually, no, it doesn't. Forget about it.
No, I was not talking
Okay.
about that, but yeah, that is also meh.
Okay, I gotta reset because the key is different. There we go. Can you still see here?
Yes, I can still see the
There we go.
relax tab.
So you see that I got a cursor, right?
Yeah.
The output, and then I'll have to reshare my screen because this is stupid. Here. This is the result. So it gives you a cursor object with this ID. I'll explain what this is. and the rows, right?
I see.
That's it. And then it gives you some stuff like goodies that I think would be nice to know, like row count, if it has more, the current DB hash, the database name, and the branch. So this is like conventional information, right? So it's just wrapping on top of it. Um, yeah, that's it. Um, let me see now. And then to go back, I'll switch. Give me a sec, Marin. Okay, there we go. And then let's suppose that I want to read the next remaining thingies. Uh, just a moment.
Okay, so for
Uh,
this,
and then I can pick this, and then I just change. I need the RW wrap here. RL wrap. And then I pick this guy, and this is what the fix was about. You see, it's a long string, and then I'm cutting here. So that's
I
the problem.
see.
Uh, what? Oh, probably. Let me see. Count parentheses lemmas. 1, 2, 3. 1,
no,
2.
I'm not
3.
gonna do that.
You're,
There we go. So then I pick the next. You see, and then I can continue. Notice that the session, the cursor is the same because it's the same query, right? Oops. So the same, and then it's over. And then the next thing is closed because it has more false. You see?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, but
So
the
that's fine.
question from before was like we need to establish a convention of what are we allowed to send to you for you to make sense out of it. Okay? So let me
Uh,
explain the differences between these two inputs here.
I mean, you
And this
don't
is
need to
particularly
send
for
anything.
DIL,
Just
by the way. This is particularly for
yeah.
DIL.
Let me look
So,
at your screen. Give me a sec. Okay.
so if we send to you a session identifier, let's write that down, session identifier. What you're gonna do, what this means to you is, we want to poke it. That means there is already a query associated with this session identifier, and we want to poke the stream of data.
The poke. Poco.
If we send to you a query though, create a session identifier with this query uh, and send that to us. What do
Yeah,
you think?
those are begins. Though that's the two commands I sent.
No, yeah, but here's that's the situation. We Okay, you want us to send the begin to you. That's what you're saying, right?
No, the begin is the first, right? Sorry, the begin is the second. So
Yeah.
create a session.
Yeah, but we wanted to just send to you the query and you do the begin on your side. Do you prefer us doing the
Well,
begin on our side?
well, the query goes inside of the begin.
No, yeah, but the reason I wanted to be as simple as possible is because then we have to exchange less data, right? Like this is the minimum
Well,
amount
the
of
thing is,
everything.
for consistency, you guys will have to manage the sub languages anyway.
Okay, I have to agree on that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that when we get to writing, regardless. So we may as well deal with it now.
Okay, so in that case,
I,
let me take a look on
for
how it
now
looks.
though, I would just wrap in a uh, uh, like just hard code it somewhere and assume it's all the same sublanguage because that's the only one you're interacting with.
Yeah. No, but I think Marim is right. I think I am being lazy without necessity here. We're gonna create that,
It's
and
Erlang,
then
man. Just spawn things that don't exist, and that's fine.
yeah, that's fine. Okay,
Don't
but
worry, Lemos. We
okay,
can
but
act as your strictness annotation.
okay, but aside from that, do you see that the protocol we either gonna send to you? I mean, from my perspective, everything is the same. I forgot about that because now everything is a matter of sending which sublanguage it is, so it doesn't matter. Cool. So let's actually do the body of that. So in the example that we have, in the example that we have, we we have to do a begin, right? We have to do a begin, and then we have to do a fetch as well. So that kind of
Yeah, we need to do like STL, then begin, then put a query inside of the begin.
yeah, but then we
Um,
have a begin thing.
Just do
Ah,
string
awesome.
concatenation, man.
Sorry?
Just do string concatenation for now.
String concatenation. But that's
Yeah,
what we've
just
been
hard
doing, man.
code. Well, you're pattern matching the words in tuples. Like, why would you do that now? Just put the string there as a function.
I'm confused. Maninho, what I'm confused. Could you
What
help
I'm
me?
saying is ignore the existence of the sublanguage and just do a wrapper around it. It's the only one you're going to message,
No, but that's not true. We are gonna message true, right? DRL, which was we just did in the first hour, and now we are doing
which
the
is
SCL.
wrapped inside of the SCL.
Ah, yeah, that is true, right? Actually, I haven't thought of that. That is true.
So you just call the whatever parsing, right? Serialization for the DRL
Yeah,
inside of the SCL, but
yeah, no,
SCL doesn't need to
that's
have a
definitely
complex thing.
a way to go about it. But I think I want to do this kind of properly because, as Maninho said, this is unavoidable, and it's not that amount of work anyway. That
Well,
big
then
amount of work.
go for it.
Okay, so if it is that, okay, can I assume every single begin will always contain DRL stuff?
It only allows DRL, yes.
Okay, cool. So this is the DRL body, serialized body, I should say, serialized body. And we're gonna call serialize DRL body, passing the query to that, which is cool. And then we need to actually create our stuff. So let's actually grab this and say, hey, I am a begin. So there's this. And actually I can still do it like here. So there's a query. And then it comes the DRL stuff. Uh, and then there needs to be a closing parenthesis of the query.
and we need to put a limit of 1.
Yes, but that can be done in here.
That can be hard coded actually, because we're always going to ask for 1.
Yeah, in this case, right? Uh,
Oh, you guys could increase in theory and
no,
just
yeah, but
store the
yeah,
state,
but we're
no?
gonna do that again. This is the simplest, most simple case for the
You don't need
retrieval.
spaces, by the way.
Sorry?
You don't need spaces there. If you. By the way,
No,
do you know
it's
how to do a string interpolation in OCaml?
uh, OCaml. If I know, I never remembered because we don't do that in the compiler.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
you can make
That's
you
it,
can
right?
have a PTX for
SCL
that
body. That's kind
interface.
of it. And this is already doing the parentheses, so that's
Oh, and
good.
I was right. There's a PPX string that adds that.
Okay. That doesn't surprise me one bit.
That
Uh,
saddens me actually.
well, it is sad, but at this point, reality, I cannot deny this reality. Okay, but this is perfect because now that we can do the create session function here, right? Because now, what we need to do, what we need to do, actually, because this is inside of a maybe, I should probably also return OKs from these things. Which kind of means,
Magata, quick question. The
Mhm.
limit when we do a begin is for the initial payload, right? That you return.
When I do a begin, that is for the payload.
Like when you do a begin, you also return like some initial data, right?
yeah, he
Yes.
returns many other things. He explained here he's sending the commit and the branch and
Let me
things.
send you the object that I'm
Ah,
Yeah,
returning.
that also
well, in
works.
that case, actually, we should do a limit of 0 when we establish the session.
Oh, I see. To get nothing, right?
Okay, so 0 it is.
Thankfully, I already checked and I allow 0. I thought of blocking 0, but I didn't.
That's
Thanks,
good.
Mageta.
That's pretty good. So this is actually session creation payload. And this is going to be serialize
Let me
And we
format
need to
this.
say SCL, and oh fuck, we need to create the thing. Okay, let's do that. But this can be outside of the maybe because this is not gonna fail. So query.
Famous last words.
Yeah, famous last word. Okay, we need to create that thing in there. So that is base Sakura attribute. So let's actually make that as a string attribute. And then we pass that here. Seems alright.
Man, how?
Okay, then we do the send, then we wait, and then here comes the hard part. Because now I think we do need this serialize to make this happen. This serialized data, which means, oh yeah, this can fail, right? So I need to remember to put question mark. There you go. This serialize raw data, and we're gonna return. What are we expecting out of this guy? Where is the create session? Here it is. It's an okay with the thing. Well, in that case,
There we go. That's much better.
is that
Here.
it, Marinho?
Let's see. We make the query. We serialize it. We send it. We receive a response, and we get the raw data back.
Yeah, but we need to
Yeah, that could be
inform
it.
how to deserialize this thing. Magenta is not telling us in the response which sublanguage it is, so I will have to do that myself.
Could I?
Well,
I mean, I
that's
can, but
unnecessary. That's unnecessary, I would say. Because
yeah,
in
I don't
this
think so.
context, we always know that what we're going to be returning to us. Well,
Yeah.
when we have an asynchronous context, this may be a problem, but
And the response is not necessarily part of the command instructions of the sublanguage, right? So that would be
yeah, no, but yeah, but that's kind of the problem because when we do a send to you, which by the way, this is wrong. There we go. And which by the way, I also need to receive that. So receive timeout. So we forgot about that. Let's put
If you want to be consistent, that should go after the socket, no?
like here. That works. Okay, so let me explain to Mageta the situation. So Mageta, right now we are doing like everything is synchronous. So this is not a problem. So we always gonna
Mhm.
know what your response is gonna be related to. But when, it's not even a question of if in my head, it's a question of when. When we start doing like probably multi-process or multi-threading asynchronous communication with you, then we need to know what is this response, of which send this response
But
is
doesn't
about.
the session ID also serve that purpose?
Not quite, because what happens when we're trying to establish the session ID?
What happens when you're trying to establish the session ID? I mean, it's on
Yeah,
a snapshot, so
no. That. Yeah, that fixes some problems. But the main point is, what if we have multiple threads running and they both try to create a new session like concurrently?
Yeah.
yeah,
How,
that's
how,
fine. It's based on the query and on the
Yeah, exactly. No, no.
time
From your perspective,
standard.
is fine, but from our perspective, is a problem because when we do this send, we imagine that we have 15 create
Oh,
sessions at
I
the same
see, I
time.
see, I see. So you guys would want a nonce, something like that,
Yeah,
on your
yeah,
side.
yeah,
yeah. We ideally, I'm pretty sure the standard way to deal with this kind of thing in the web is you accept unknowns from us
Mm-hmm.
that we generate, and then when we get your response, you have to pass the nonce back to us exactly as it was, and then we can correlate it on our side, basically.
yeah. We need to put a to do here about that. So to do. Um, how do we identify that this receive is about the above send? We need to have some. Well, how do you write that? This
And no, without the U.
without the U. Some nonce about it. Which for now is not a problem. Everything is monothreaded and synchronous anyway. Uh, Especially because I think our chances of success trying to go hardcore in first steps would be very bad. So let's try dumb first, complicated later. Mamarinho, look at this. Do I have it? Is that it? I think we have it. No,
Try.
we can't. That's kind of the problem. The only thing we can do is to see if it compiles.
You can run manually, right? The functions.
No, I can, but they are made in a way that they assume you are in the microkernel runtime.
I mean, can't you just run the create session by itself? That's my point.
I think I can, and there is a problem. There is query here, and query here, and query here.
Yeah, that doesn't
Uh,
work.
yeah, that doesn't work. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Ooh, we need to combine this with this, don't we?
Combine what with what? Sorry.
Looking at the example that you sent on the Sakura chat, when you want to request, when you want to do a begin, you need to send a base with a Sakura column attribute, which is supposed to be this thing. Okay, so far?
Yeah, that is one
But
sample query. Yes.
but that's kind of the.
I mean, you don't need to send that. That's just a sample.
Oh wait, this can be anything?
Yes, it's a query, man.
Oh, okay, so
That's the
never
query.
mind. Never mind.
I just one
Fixed.
example. Like,
Fixed. Okay. Okay, Marin, do you think we have it now?
Let's see. We get the socket, we get a timeout, we get the query. We serialize the query. We send it to the socket. We get the response, and then we deserialize it.
Yeah. So do you think that's it?
That should work, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a hack, but I actually think this is a good idea to have this string and this function together, because then this code will be forever here. That's cool.
where's a strong word for that?
Okay, so commit time. 2 out of 3 done.
What if this doesn't work and it is explodes right now? What would you gonna
We're
do?
only gonna know when we run it, which in your question, the answer to your question is yes, we can run create session ourselves in this case. It's just
Yep.
gonna be a little bit
That's
annoying. So implement create
manual and painful.
session,
But
implement create session. Um, Function in
it
Sakura.
will be cool when we bootstrap and then we rewrite all of this in Karuta.
Yeah, I think that's a 2030 goal, I think. We have so
I
many
want
other
to see you
things to
doing that,
fix.
Lemus. I want to see you doing that.
Well, if we reach 20 my standards of like, okay, 2030, it's time to do bootstrap, like self-hosting, I think we deserve medals, actually. I think we pull something off so profound that it deserves recognition. Uh, but I have faith. I do have faith. Okay, so I don't want to test this right now because it's gonna be annoying because I have to do all of this manually. So I don't want to
Yeah.
do that. Let's actually start
Or
the
you can ask AI
deserialization.
to do it for you.
Nah. Uh, okay, so I don't know. Maybe there's some years after you read the After Virtue book, right? Yesterday
Years.
I just read the
Okay,
practice
like
chapter.
some time. Okay, I see.
Yeah. So do you
Okay,
remember the
yeah,
practice chapter?
more or less. I kind of remember the the topics, but not really if you ask about a specific thing of it.
Yeah, no, but just a small tangent. It is about acquiring internal goods
Hmm.
out of a practice. In a practice, there's a particular definition. And man, this reading convinced me even more that I have to write this shit myself. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't make the rules.
You have to write it yourself.
Yeah, there is an argument to be made. Well, we can talk about that later. But the long story short, asking the bot to do it for me would hinder this particular thing.
I
Uh,
mean, that makes sense, I guess.
yeah, actually it makes a lot of sense, but I think people would not like. People are not ready to that conversation. I should say. Let's actually put
How many
SCL.
talks about Diderot?
Talks about what?
Diderot.
I don't know when. I don't know that one.
Don't remember now.
Um,
Maybe I should read the book again.
okay, so there are two types of responses that we care, and I just noticed that this is not enough. We also need another
Uh,
atom to know if this is a session or if this is about data.
why would you deserialize that though?
What do you mean? I need this to be
As
deserialized to continue the microencoding trick.
I mean, as it no, I mean yes, yeah, duh, but I mean the as a SCL, right? Because that's not a okay. I think I suppose you want to deserialize the results, right?
Well,
The
I'm adding the,
ASO
the
language
tags
can
of the
give you.
sublanguages to know because I don't know what the response is. I'm using the tags to understand. Okay, what should I expect out of
I
this
see, it makes
variable?
sense. It's just that it doesn't. It's not a. It's just an object, right? So if you look on the chat, I sent the
Yeah,
one of the
that is the
returns.
one for session, which I'm about to
Yeah.
start. But here's the situation. Oh man, we don't have the parsing DSL that Marinho made for OCaml, which kind of means that I am in raw strings territory. I don't have combinators, I don't have anything. I'm a
You have
peasant.
pattern matching.
Imagine if you didn't.
I mean, you have pattern matching on binaries even.
Oh yeah. Why don't you pattern match binaries, Lemus?
uh, well, I guess that is something that I can do. So, but how can I make that? Okay, so pattern match
I mean, you would
binaries
still need to
OCaml.
do the functions to
No, not
pattern
OCaml.
match the other parts, but it is a
It's
huge help.
it's binary Erlang. Okay,
Ah
but
man,
how?
let me do this for you. I don't want to see you suffering on this. That's too much for me.
Marin, do you agree with this strategy of using like tuples and tags to identify what we should expect out of the response? I don't think I have a better idea.
I think that makes sense.
Oh, and there also must be a DRL deserialization, which I'm gonna be calling here. Actually, I think I can already do that. So this is just gonna be okay, but deserialize URL
That doesn't quite
response.
work because you need to join that.
What do you mean by join?
I mean the monadic join.
What am I joining with this
Because
thing?
this serialize is going to return an OK and the result,
Ah,
right?
that is true, right? Yeah, I need a join. I need a
Actually,
join.
can't you just do a tail call in this case?
I think I can, actually. In this case, I do believe I can. I do believe I can do that.
I think you
Yeah,
can
the
do.
SCL case when it's data, it's actually pretty okay. Which kind of reminds me that we can do the other case. Where is the serialization that I was doing before? Yeah, here it is. So let's actually change and made the other branch of this, which is gonna be
I think you're gonna
fetch.
sweat a little bit.
Just grab the data out of the payload that you sent in the chat. That I'm happy, man. I'm actually pretty happy about it. So to do a fetch, I need I need things. I need a cursor, and the limit of this one is one, and there's a fetch here, and there's a cursor here, and there is a cursor here, and I don't need this apparently. Actually, there's no query in this case, so
Yeah.
that's nice. There we go.
If you make another query, by the way, it will just replace the one you had previously.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
You can make two begins in a sequence, but then it will replace the previous begin because I don't have threads.
Well, but that's fucked up. That's kind of the big deal.
Well, I mean, it is by session, right? So if you make on the same session another query, like another begin, actually, sorry,
No, but that will happen. That's kind of the problem.
no, wait, no, it's safe. I have a map. That's true. No, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay then. Okay, so
Magetta is just using maps.
I'm just using maps. Just use maps. That's the answer.
there is a problem.
If you delay too much, it will garbage collect though.
I need to extract the cursor out of this thing.
The curse.
Okay, so
The
let's actually
mummy.
do that. So I don't know the data structure that AI is going to pull off, but I'm going to assume it's going to be a map, and I'm going to assume there will be a key called cursor.
Wait, the
So,
AI is gonna pull off, so you're gonna give up? Is
no,
that it?
you are the one telling me you're going to help me. So I'm expecting, that's what I expected from
I
you in
was
this
I
case.
was going to do that myself, but then I give up.
Really?
It's
I love you,
too
Mageta.
painful.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much.
I just
Um,
stopped. It's too painful.
yeah, but I also
Um,
need
Let me
an
continue. Just
OK
thought of an
and a serialized cursor. Actually, I'm gonna call this a serialized fetch, and that's what we send to you. There we go. And in here, we're just gonna call serialize, and we're gonna say, hey, I have an SCL, but I have an SCL that has a fetch on it. Is that how I'm pulling this off? I don't remember.
Needless to say that Benet is very happy that I slapped.
That you did what?
What's the name? That I slap GNU Afero license on the thing.
Ah, okay. And then we do it like that. That's it. Marinho, do you agree? I changed your function, get response, right? This is the function that actually does the fetching, the incremental fetching.
Get session cursor. Wait, why is session a map here?
I'm assuming, I don't know, because we don't know what Mageta is cooking, because I don't know what's gonna come out of this.
The session is supposed to
I
be just an ID, no?
It isn't, because look at the payload in the chat.
That is just an ID. Yes,
No, that's not true. There is an
it's a
ID.
shaman.
No, there is a chat, but there's so many other things. Are we gonna just discard that?
Don't you want the rows and
I'm
oh,
asking
I see.
Marinho.
You're talking about the row count and
Yeah, I'm
that.
talking about the other metadata. Okay.
Um,
That's why I
I'm not
assume
sure
it
that
should be a map.
I'm not sure that we need any of that, to be honest.
What is the row count? Is that how many rows are remaining?
No, that's how many rows I sent.
No, wait, I'm
Which
doing
is
it.
going to be 0 because we're limiting to 0 initially, right?
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Yeah, but I'm actually doing the fetch one by one, as you can see here.
I mean, on the
Okay.
first it will be 0,
Yeah,
right?
on the first will be 0 for creating the session, I guess. I
Yeah, then the
specified
next
it.
ones are always And then the next ones are always going to be 1 unless it's the final one, and then after that we're going to get a 0 if it has more of
Yeah, yeah,
false.
actually that's another conversation. We need to talk to Mageta. How do we know it ended? We haven't talked about it.
There's a field called has more.
Oh, okay. So, but then we do need the metadata. You see, Marinho?
I guess we can actually use that to stop when we know that there's no more data. But other than that, like we can look at the has more, and then
Yeah,
we
you
can
don't
look
need
at
to
the
store,
ID.
right? You just look on demand, I guess.
Yeah, no, you can keep sending it to us, but right now we're gonna do the closure thing of ignoring what we don't want right now. We don't need right now.
Yeah, right
Uh,
now we just need the ID, and then later on we can look at the has more. But for now we just need the ID.
no, no, no. We need the has more right now because that's what mandates this pattern match.
Ah, okay. No, in that case, yeah, we look at the ID and that it has more, and that's it.
Yeah, but in that case, I think having a map is fine because in the future we may want the remaining metadata. So let's just make it a map with two keys right now, cursor and has more, which means that this case should be an if. Uh, Actually, it shouldn't be because ifs are
Actually,
cursed in
given
Erlang.
yeah, ifs are cursed, just pattern match on a boolean. That's the same thing, but it has better
Has
syntax.
more. Can we have question marks in map keys in Erlang?
Sure, but you would need to do a single quote possibly.
Oh, okay, so never mind.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not sure if question mark is valid as an atom character. It might be. I know the at sign is.
Okay, but what if we have a true? Alright, if you have a true. Oh, we don't have an example of that, right? Um, oh, no, no, we do. It's in the rows. Yeah, we also have rows, Marinho. So this is a maps get rows.
Ah, yeah, no, that's not quite right because we need to look at the rows, and then the has more tells us the next call if it's going to return something or not.
Ah, wait. So we are working with the opposite logic than Mageta. Mageta is telling us about the future, but we are inspecting the current.
Yeah, basically, when we do a call on the session, he's going to return however many rows we have limited to, up to that number, right? So yeah, we actually do need to look at the rows. Um, the ID, well, it's just the cursor ID that we use to do the following calls. And the has more tells us, hey,
Should
if
we
you
or
call
should
me,
we not do this tail call?
yeah, basically.
Ah, okay, okay. That means that I need to retrieve the rows first. So rows, maps get session rows, and then I do a case on rows. If it's empty, then we return empty. If it's not, if it's not, then I put it in here. Probably this should receive a concat map because this is going to be a list of lists. But we know that this is a single row.
Yeah, we should
Uh,
probably just
More. Actually, I'm going to define more in this body. There we go. And then we need to get the has more. So session has more, and then has more of. If it's true, then we do this. But if it's not, then we just do this. And there's an end here.
Flush word.
What do you think, Manin?
let's see. If the row is empty, return something. Can't we just
Wait.
destructure the row immediately on the pattern match?
Destructure the row immediately. You mean in this line?
No, not there. On line 100. And one on 102.
Destructure the row immediately.
Like, put the maps get the rows inside of the case, and then do a list with the row inside of it for the non-empty.
Eh.
Oh man, in LFA this would be so trivial.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. This runtime is so simple and it uses so basic data structures and things. There is a benefit of doing in LFA. The only issue that I see is that maybe LFA doesn't have the maybe thing.
It does. It
It
compiles to
does.
the Erlang thing, so it should have.
Yeah, probably we should consider Marin rewriting all of this in the LFA.
I just give in like 2 hours to do that.
Uh,
And some Adderall, that too.
and this is more, which means I can also do the same trick here. There we go.
Ugh,
Thoughts, thoughts.
looks fine. Um,
I
Since
think,
we're always
but I
calling
think
with a limit of 1, like, shouldn't we
assert that
just put,
invariant.
yeah, in the case, put a, yeah, that. There we go.
But then this makes like that, and then this means that this is an error. Unreachable. Uh, ask ask primitive should only fetch one piece of data at a time. Sure, but I also
Man,
think
doing
we
this
can do.
parser is kinda tough if you don't plan to just be um, like hard code things.
Wait a moment. If you are sending us S expressions and we can go to LFA, isn't that trivial?
That's what I said. It's just LFA.
Wait, so LFA exposes the parsing function like Common Lisp does.
Yes.
Okay, I
Well,
think I have an argument, Marin. I think I have an argument now. It's
okay.
not just a matter of huge convenience, but also not
Oh,
living a
that is
miserable
why I
life.
said LFA would be trivial because it's just data
Well,
structure.
when you
Like
said that, I interpreted differently because, in my opinion, this is dynamic language programming. There isn't anything fancy. It's just manipulation of lambdas and data structures. Why are we not doing LFA from the start? Probably because we didn't know at the time how basic this thing is.
yeah, I think if I were doing like XML, it actually I can output XML. Do you want that?
No. Now,
No.
now that I've done everything, no. Thank you very much.
I mean, it's just
XML is XML is
laminar.
just more verbose as expressions, no?
Yeah, and it
Oh,
is
but
that as well.
you already have a built-in thing on Erlang, right? That was my point.
That's kind of annoying to use compared to just read from LFE.
It is, yes. You can make something cursed as well, which is write a simple parser in LFE and then just outputs the results to Erlang. And then it's literally just one line, which is a read. The Man, but how the heck is it? How? Oh wait, Lemus. I just had an idea.
Tell me about
Man, instead of writing a parser, can you run a regex?
it.
Oh man,
Okay,
this is
okay,
cursed.
you want
Okay,
to make it
okay.
worse.
No,
No, no, no, no,
no.
no. Wait. Here's my point. Okay, hear me out. Do you see that is just Erlang tuples?
Which
Kind of
ones?
like look at the response payload.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
just
bunch of S
Erlang tuples.
expressions. Well, which are tuples.
Yes. You just need to add commas and swap the parentheses. Voila. Just do that and then you
Come
read it,
on,
right?
man. Come on.
I'm not joking, seriously, because why bother waste time writing a parser for this if you're going to do that in LFE later? Just to test, you just do a regex and then read.
There is a VGX library. But
That
Yeah,
sounds kind of cursed.
no, it is not
that
sounds. It
sounds.
is cursed.
It is cursed, but it is genius. You gotta say that.
It is
I'll do that
obviously it
right
is
now.
cursed.
I'll give you a function to do that. Give me a second.
That doesn't work if you store a string containing parentheses in the database and then you get that back from a query.
I'll just transform everything to strings. Solved.
uh, Man, there is something to be said about that. And I just noticed that I need to get the rows out of the response. I should not get the rows out of the. Wait a moment. This array payload that you sent. This is always going to be the response, right? Regardless if it's a begin or if it is a fetch. I get it?
Sorry, what? Sorry.
This response that you shared, this example of a response that you shared here, is
Yeah.
this the response for both a fetch and a begin, or are they different?
Yeah, both.
No, both, right? Yeah. So I made a mistake. So this is a new session. This raw data thing. After this, realize this is a new session,
I should probably send you an error too, right? Uh,
which
so
kind of means.
if you, Lemus, by chance, happen to query something incorrectly, and give me a moment.
Yeah, this is this is what this means. So new session. No, but I also need the cursor from the previous session. Man, this is gonna get confusing. So I'm gonna call this updated because it's not a new session. It's the same session but different. And then in here, and just do that. I don't care about the has more in this
Um,
case because
yeah,
I
actually, Lemus, we just need to receive the session ID, yeah, the cursor ID as a parameter. And we
I see
actually
what
don't
you're
need to
saying.
send anything, and we actually don't need to send anything other than the cursor ID as a parameter to the recursive call either.
Yeah, yeah, you were completely right. We only care about this data when doing these inspections of the cases. For sending shit, we actually just care about the cursor. Yeah, which kind of means that this should be a new cursor, updated cursor, and this is
Which is going to
updated,
be the same thing because the ID remains the same between calls.
which is gonna be the same. The answer is no. Oh no, no, wait. The answer is yes because this is not a cursor. I got confused by the name. This is an identifier.
Yeah, this is the session ID,
Yeah, I'm actually gonna
basically.
call that session ID, and we don't need it as there because it's always the same session ID anyway. Is that it?
Let's see, you take the session ID, you do a fetch, you
Ah,
receive the response.
I missed actually contributing to something.
Oh, speaking of contributing, how's the Postgres thing going, Magetta?
Just waiting one committer to review, and the other guy that I'm pairing, he's preparing a patch, but he's in the Bahamas right now, so I'm just waiting, basically.
What are you
Good for
contributing
him,
to?
I guess.
Is that about the SQL thing, the Postgres thing?
Yeah, it's the one is the XML thingy, and the other is the assertion,
Oh,
Yeah,
like a four pointer.
this looks pretty alright,
Which,
Lemon.
by the way, Marinho, let me show you this. You're gonna be amazed. I implemented that on OCaml.
wait. You implemented assertion for Postgres in OCaml?
Not assertions because we already had them, but efficient assertions.
Oh,
So
so contribute to
check this
something
out.
you meant Sakura. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
Awesome.
mean, no, but I'm contributing to Postgres too. I have those two things. So those are the languages, right? And then
Right.
there's this beautiful language here, which is, oops, sorry, I forgot. Man, I keep forgetting that I changed, I rename it, and I regret every day. ICL. So ICL now is, it quantifies things, right? But then I have this thing, I have this thing for polarity. So executor ICL polarity. Where's the polarity? Project grep polarity. I think it's on the main maybe. Ignore the tests; they're useless. Uh, benchmark. I
Based.
don't care. No. Where is that, man? What? Why? Man, am I tripping? Like, where's that on the source code? Oh, there we go.
Session, create
The full benchmark.
session.
There we go. Manipulation. It's another cryptic
And
module we
this
have.
will not be
So
a
this is the
tuple.
actual file with the database manipulation, right? So this is like things that, well, to just manipulate the database. I don't think I need to explain. So, and then I have this thing here, which is the following. It's, man, this is extremely smart. So this is the paper I was reading. The strategy is very simple, actually. So you have every statement you have can have a polarity on how it affects the constraint chain. So think about this. If you have you can have either it being negative or positive. Okay. And then I assert that inserts they are negative and deletes are positive. Why? Because think of a constraint like, for example, a foreign key of user of well, the usual, right? So like worker, employee, and department. The employee is depending on a department existing, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
So that means that the polarity is negative for me to insert a employee from the perspective of not having a department. You see?
Wait,
So if you have a
I don't have
constraint,
the intuition of polarity yet. Could you repeat?
so imagine like this: you have, let me scratch. So you have employee relation, and you have department, and then you say, let's make a constraint. The constraint is the following: it's an FK that will tell me that it's a constraint for the employee. Okay, so there exists a D such that member D dot uh, dept ID equals to the dept ID. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the
Let me
department
actually
ID of the employee,
grab
right?
your screen.
So this is the constraint of the employee. Let me increase the. So this is a constraint of the employee, and then I say there should exist a D such that there is a member of department that satisfies this equality here, and this is from the employee. Okay, it's just that I don't need a variable
Yeah, yeah,
because it's already on the
yeah.
emp. So that's basically the constraint. Now think about this. What is the polarity? Well, from the perspective of this constraint, is this positive or negative? I say the positive polarities are the following: deletes, and negative polarities are inserts. Because, for example, if I insert another department, does it affect this constraint?
No.
It doesn't, right? But
No.
what if I delete a
Then it
department?
does.
Then it does. So it's basically an efficient way. And then with these, I can have a walker, a polarity walker, which is basically a tree. You can think of that as a tree that I can cascade the constraints in a chain and then look at which constraints can be triggered given the action on the transition tuple. Because, for example, when I'm inserting a tuple, well, sorry, when I'm updating, right? when I'm updating something, I have the transition tuple, which is the where I want to go, the tuple, and the tuple that I have right now, right? So
Wait.
with those two, I can basically check and say, okay, I uh, this will actually break these constraints because of their polarity.
Yeah, no, okay, so you're classifying the polarity of a constraint.
Yes, and then that basically gives me a tree on quantification, right? So if I have like not, for example, in Postgres in that case, so if I have not, then it will negate this thing, so it flips the polarity, right?
But the polarity of
Uh,
being positive means that you don't have to cascade.
the polarity of being positive here is
Means
an
you actually
equal.
do need to check.
I do need to check.
Ah,
The
okay.
polarity where I don't need to check is negative.
Ah, okay. I see.
So man, this
Yeah,
was a fantastic insight. Like when I read that paper, I was, wow, this is
Yeah, that
fantastic.
sounds
But
pretty
yeah,
anyway,
pretty useful.
because
that's really
think
good.
about this, you will run these things over the database, right? So how can you efficiently run them? That was the question. So when do you trigger them?
Well,
And
sounds
this
like
gives
you
the
should
answer.
index by polarity.
Basically,
Well,
yeah, kinda.
the polarity is just three, right? So it is actually an index already.
Okay, this is really cool. But also I have to go because I need to eat something and then I actually need to do some more work stuff because I'm slightly behind on time this week.
Well, have
Um,
fun, buddy.
have fun.
Before I go though, I have a petition. Magetta,
Mhm.
please don't call it a polarity walker. Call it a polar bear.
I can actually make a PR to change that just for you.
Okay, it is already named. That's kind of fun.
Polar bear.
That that.
Um, all right, folks. I'm gonna eat and then I'm going back to do a little bit more work before I go to bed.
All right, have fun, buddy.
Have fun.
Thanks. Good
Zero
night.
response. Good night. Magetta. So I also gotta
Mhm.
go. But here's my solution to our problems.
Deserialize to do. Man, yeah. Unsaid you didn't go with the regex route. It's just so
Because here's the
simple.
thing. Here's what I'm gonna propose. Actually, let me just see if this works. So Sakura. Yeah, it does. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna commit start this serialization of Sakura responses. The PR is going to be opened, and Marinho. Well, you're going to review because Marinho has commits and I have commits. So you're going to review it. It's a very simple PR. It's like two files, three file stops PR, and then we're going to
Okay.
merge it. We're going to merge it, and then when we have that, we're going to actually do the LFA migration immediately after that. Uh, so we're going to rewrite three files to LFA, which should be very simple, like you said, 2 hours. And then we're going to continue from where we start. Where we stopped, actually. So in theory, probably that's not going to happen as I'm about to say because Marinho is behind his schedule in terms of work. But in theory, we could do this migration tomorrow, and then on Friday we just continue where we left off.
I think it what. Okay, so I have a better proposal
Sure.
for uh for simplicity for now, right? Just so we don't hinder progress, maybe. What about we just start a side project that is linked on this with LFE, and then we start doing things there, but then we just like still use this code that was written so far.
I'm confused. Why
Like we can
would
still use the source code, we just keep adding new things to LFE.
keep adding new things to LFE?
Yeah, like the new functions and etc. We just add on LFE and call them here. And then later we rewrite all of this.
I mean, if it was a lot of code, I would agree, but
How much is it?
we're talking 300 lines tops.
Eh,
So like 230 here, 120
that's at
here.
least. Man, I'm pretty sure that that is at least 3 sessions.
What? This can be mechanically done.
Oh, so you want to just put an LLM to do it for you?
Well, I'm saying that because this is like there's no semantical difference between these translations. In theory, it's just a syntactical
Yeah.
conversion.
Let's try to do that now. Push the code. Let's see.
It's already there. It's already
So
pushed.
let me.
Go to the Sakura integration branch, and literally we just need this all of this code. Well, we need to review the code. Don't get me wrong. We cannot just trust it. You know yourself.
What do you mean?
We need to read it. But in theory, it's just a syntactical translation. There's no semantical difference.
Well, we need to change the rebar as well. Yeah. Git
We're not using
checkout.
rebar. This is a runtime thing of the compiler, which means it should be as simple as
Oh,
possible.
I see. So those are just loose
Yeah,
function.
exactly. There's no project to be converted. It's
I
just
see.
literally changing the extension and
Okay,
changing the
so let's
syntax.
try.
I'm gonna
Let's
stop the
try.
recording now.